Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Namhla, and thank you for joining me. So today not just today, a lot of times I've been thinking about this, and also I thought about this some more when I had a conversation with a friend over the weekend with regards to men's problems and how men's problems never get resolved because men never want to introspect about their problems. They always want to outsource the reasons of their problems. A typical example will be the fact that the suicide rate amongst men is much higher than the suicide rate amongst women. But men don't talk about that in isolation or as a man problem, but rather they will say men kill themselves a lot because women stress them. And I will not deny and say that women don't stress men, because I cannot speak for all women, so I don't know. But I don't think that is the number one contributing factor to the suicide rate amongst men. So, and also it's incredibly difficult to talk to men or to talk about men issues, because men will only hear one thing and they will run with that thing and they will dismiss everything else that you say. So if you say that the suicide rate amongst men is much higher than that of women, all men will hear is that men die at a much higher rate than women, therefore there is no crisis of women dying at the hands of men. But that's not what we are saying. We can have all of these conversations and we can try to address all of them and perhaps even solve them without comparing them to each other and without minimizing one so that the other can have more priority. So we can talk about the fact that there is a crisis of men who are suffering from deep mental issues, so much that their suicide rate is much higher than that of women. We can also talk about the fact that men are harmful to women and they kill them, and the rate at which women die at the hands of men is unacceptable. So we can talk about all of those things, and it doesn't mean that if we talk about one, there's no space for the other one, but men don't want to do that. And if we look at murder stats, for example, and we will acknowledge that men do in fact die more than women. However, they die at the hands of other men, not at the hands of women. And I'm not saying that women don't kill other women or that women don't kill men. I am saying that the rate at which men generally kill people shows that we have a problem of violent men, right? So we have a problem with violent men, we have a problem of suicidal men, we have so many problems, but all of these problems are big problems. They're important problems. They are problems that need to be addressed. However, in order for us to do that, we need to be able to have those conversations openly and honestly. So I'm not a mental health expert, so obviously I'm just speaking based on my own opinions, based on what I've seen around me, having been alive for 30 years, that boy children are not nurtured emotionally like girl children, but they are coddled, which is weird. So for example, when a child falls, right, if she's a girl, it's most likely that the mother is going to check on her, check if she's okay, if she's not too hurt, allow her to cry and express her feelings about the fact that she fell, right? And then after that, she can move on with life. And even as an adult, as a woman, there is a lot of space for you to just cry when things are not, going well, when you just feel like crying. Whereas when it's a boy child, when he falls, he must just get up, get up, you'll be fine. You're a big boy, don't cry, because, boys don't cry. And they carry that behavior into adulthood, and it will manifest in different ways. It can manifest in depression, anger issues, violence, aggression, etc., etc. So, but at the same time, while girls get a little bit of emotional nurturing from parents, boys are the ones that get the coddling, which is where I always say there's a bit of a contradiction, because on the one hand, you acknowledge that boys are also children and they're human and they deserve a little bit of being treated softly. But that coddling does not really help them, because it's not nurturing, but rather it is... Okay, so girls are raised like this, right? She must learn how to cook. Okay, I can't cook, but I'm like the exception. So she must learn how to cook, wash dishes, do the laundry, take care of children, and all of those things, right? Because she needs to be a strong woman for the world, right? And she needs to be able to be a good wife, a good mother, and all of those things. She gets taught this responsibility from a very young age. And although I am a big fan of teaching children responsibility, because we're going out into the world and you're not going to survive in the world if you can't clean up, after yourself. But the same cannot be said for boy children. Boy children don't typically get taught to do those things, like that they're looking after the household, the cooking, all of that, and they don't get the same treatment. So on the one hand, you're coddling them, but also you're not nurturing them emotionally, which now results in men who are big babies, basically, because he can't do anything for himself, or he doesn't feel like he should. He feels entitled that women should do those things for him, but at the same time, he doesn't have the emotional growth to like talk about feelings, emotions, and all of those things, which obviously is dangerous. And then the second part that I want to touch on is how men have positioned themselves as providers, which is something that men have really cemented themselves as in society, that all we do is provide. Do we do anything else? No, we just provide and we protect, right? So now if you can't provide and protect, then they feel like they're useless. So a man loses his job, suddenly can't be a father anymore, because all his fatherhood was centered on was him providing money so that the children can be fed and clothed and have medical care. But he didn't provide any emotional support, any physical support. He doesn't even know what size of clothes the children wear, what grades they're in, and all of those things. Now, I am not saying that this is what makes men absent fathers, but I do wonder that if patriarchy had not created an environment where men themselves, because they created that environment, where they only feel like they're good enough as providers, if they had not created that environment, would they be better fathers? Would they be better fathers if they knew that parenthood is not only about money? Is money important? Of course. I mean, money is important. We all know that. But that's not all that that parenthood is about. That's not all that children need. Children need more than just your money. They need love, care. They need a whole lot of other things, which men are fully capable of providing, but choose to not provide because they only want to provide money. Because, I mean, it's easy to just, provide money without taking care of any of those other needs. So sometimes men are absent fathers. Obviously men are absent fathers because they want to, but sometimes they are also absent fathers because they feel like that's all that they can be. Because, I mean, I don't have money to be anything else, so I'm just going to be absent. Which is something that men themselves need to fix. So men sometimes say that women have all of these forums and platforms where they can talk about these things. But men can also have those forums. We're not saying you guys need to have a high tea and have these conversations. If a braai is where you're comfortable to talk to your friends about whatever is going on in your life, or how you can be a better father, better partner, and all of that, then you do that at the braai. Because there's no set of rules on how to communicate effectively with those people that are around you. But the fact of the matter is, how we raise children, we must remember that we're raising them so that they can be adults one day. and they are going to be men or women or whatever. And in order for them to be able to survive in the world, they need more than just a little bit of coddling, and they need more than just being told all the time that no, you're a man and a man doesn't cry. However, women try to raise their children with their emotional, especially this generation of women. I feel like we are trying to, instill their values in our sons and give them that love and all of that, but we're not raising them for ourselves. Unfortunately, we're raising them for the world. And when they get out there into the world, and the world is still the way that it is highly patriarchal. I don't know how successful we're going to be with changing the narrative if things are still the way that they are. And so I feel like men need to play a bigger role in changing of society, in changing how they think, how they interact with each other, and just generally what they value in themselves. Like, you cannot tell me that at your age you still think that the only thing that you're good enough for is money. You should provide more than that. And I know that a lot of us were raised by single parents, single mothers, and our fathers were not there, so we don't really know what a father looks like. But you can try. You can try, because sometimes all your child needs is for you to just be there, and you will learn as you go along. So today's message is that seek help for your mental issues. And by seek help for your mental issues, I'm not saying dump on your partner, because they also have their own stuff. So seek therapy, and try to be a better father than you are. Try to be more present, and try to be more than just a financial provider, because children are not only raised on financial provision, they are raised on much, much more than that. And yeah, so that's it for the day. Thank you for coming through, and I hope to see you again soon, and I will post another video very soon. So please comment, like, subscribe, and tell your friends and their mothers. Bye.